Hello again, this is Whatcast and I am Matt. So I haven't been that active on YouTube recently because most of the stuff I do on YouTube is flat earth related. And to be perfectly honest with you, I am finding the round and round same old topics conversation fairly boring. However, one thing I'm still quite interested in is the cope and the denial around the final experiment that happened last December in Antarctica, especially from today's subject, David Weiss, Flat Earth Dave, that absolutely needs this to go away because he knows he has no credibility when he's questioned about it, because he doesn't know how to explain it. He doesn't want to turn on any more flat earthers like Whitsitt that said it happened. He doesn't care about Jaron because Jaron's flipped, so he's no longer have any need. Dave doesn't have any need for Jaron anymore. But let's get straight into it then. Flat Earth Dave fielding questions from this group here that I don't know what they are called, but this is from their group. There's about 7 people there. It's like a meeting of flat earthers that obviously happens every now and then. Huge community, obviously 6 or 7 people in a massive hall echoing, and they've brought Dave in on a big screen to fire questions at him. And I was watching this just for pure background noise while I was doing other things, and they got to a bit where they start to talk about Antarctica. So I thought I'm gonna stop it there. And I'm going to react to this because this is what interests me, the absolute childlike denialism of reality. So let's see what he has to say.
Dave, talk to me about, listen, the big thing before, a couple of people haven't been here since before the Antarctica thing. They're back tonight. And what happened? What was that nonsense all about? What's your take on it?
What was that nonsense all about, Dave? What was that nonsense of going to observe the thing that we all said could never happen in a million years? What a load of nonsense.
Dave?
Yeah, so my take on it is the whole Antarctica thing was designed, not my ego speaking, for me.
Prick. No, it wasn't. It was designed to get a flat earther and a glober, which is a ridiculous phrase and one that I reject because it's just a normal person, to go to observe something together so they can come to an agreement to say that map that he has in his app, in his the app that he sells there, that map is no longer viable. So at least great evidence to suggest we live on a globe. It wasn't designed for you. You just happened to win a poll. Well, let's see what else he says about it.
It was designed to take me down, take the zap down, take the map down, because people are getting too close to seeing the truth of our world. And
well, anybody with a brain can see that it definitely took the map down.
I was at the Tennessee debate with Greg Locke and Pastor Dean Odell. And everyone's coming up talking to me and meeting all these people. And this one guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, Dave, big fan." Shakes my hand. And he goes, "Yeah, can I take a picture with you?" And he gives the phone to his friend. And I'm like, "Sure. What's your name? You got a channel? Do I know you?" He's like, "No, you don't know me, but you will soon." And he takes this picture. He's looking at me like this, right? And now the trolls are using that picture as like, "Oh, I'm good friends with Will Duffy." That's the only time I've ever spoken to him, right? He goes, "But you will soon." Forgot about that. Months later, an email goes out to all the flat earthers, all the globers, saying there's an experiment coming up. We're going to let you know in 30 days and you're involved. And I got that email and I was like, what is this? And I replied.
No, you got this email and you thought, oh, fuck. They're actually going to do an experiment and they want me to be there present. How the fuck am I going to get out of this? Is what you thought.
I was like, just tell me the experiment and I'll let you know what I think of it. And he goes, nope, you got to wait 30 days. I replied back, don't ever contact me again. I don't play these stupid games. I don't deal with demons. Go away. And that was it. That
wasn't it. Anybody that's followed this all the way through knows that is not it. Because what actually happened was they told everyone what the experiment was going to be. Then they done polls to for people to pick their representative of their side, if you like. So the Globers had a side of who would you like to send. So did the flat earthers. Who would you like to send? Obviously, you can't prove that it's only flat earthers or globers. I hate globers. Voting on those polls. However, Dave McKeegan won, and so did Dave Weiss. Dave McKeegan accepted. Weiss, once he won the poll, then come out with the nonsense demons bullshit to get out of it. He didn't tell him, "Oh, don't bother me," before any of it happened at all.
It's the only communication I've ever had with him. I just got this feeling right away. And so when I said no, they did everything they could to get me to go. They called every influencer in my life. I was speaking at the Acapulco conference called Antarctica. They called all the influencers, all the people that run that. And they're like, Dave Weiss is speaking at your conference. He turned down a free trip to Antarctica. You know, you should make him go. And all these people are like, what are you talking about?
And all these people were probably thinking, really? Because he's always told us that he would go in a heartbeat if he ever got a trip to Antarctica. You can't go because of the Antarctic Treaty, and that you can't, everything he said was true because the reason they keep you from there is because the sun sets and it would destroy the ball. And that he would jump at the chance to go and prove it, but he's just not allowed. That's probably what they were thinking.
And so they tried everything to destroy me that way. And I was just like, I'm not dealing with it. And the main reason I wasn't going is it's a false binary. If the sun does this, then that. If the sun does that, then this. That's a false binary. That's
a false binary. But he's just said that he met Will Duffy at Dean Odell's debate with Greg Locke, cheering on Dean Odell, the flat earther. Obviously, that's why Dave went. And Dean Odell in that very debate said this.
You know, this would be easy to prove, but they hide this from us too. All we'd have to prove is go to Antarctica. Let me and you go to Antarctica, spend a week there in the summer, and let's see if the sun does a 360-degree circle all the way around us. If so, it's a ball. But if the sun comes in this way and then leaves that way, then it's not. It is what we say it is.
So if this, then this. If that, then that. Says Dean Odell. Dave agrees with him. Dave said it on many times himself. The 24-hour sun, it doesn't happen in Antarctica. If it does, then that's globe proof. And it did. And now it's not globe proof. And he's not given anyone any Bitcoin either. He always says, "Oh, if anyone can show me one globe proof," well, there's a 24-hour. No, that's not right. Why isn't it right, Dave?
It's like, you know, it does. That's not. Those aren't.
It's not. I just played you the clip that you agreed with before any of this happened, right? Because you didn't think anyone would ever pay for anyone to go, so you just thought you could say all of that shit.
The only two options. So,
which you agreed with before any of it happened, but now you say that there's not only two options. It doesn't prove anything.
I didn't go, and then Jaron,
because you're a coward bitch,
was next on the list, and I said, Jaron, nobody should go. And he's like, well, you know, if I go, I want someone to go with me. And they're like, okay, Austin can go with you. And then they said, I go, they could fake the sun behind the clouds because it's always cloudy there. And he goes, well, if it's cloudy, I'm not going to accept the answer. And Will Duffy says, these are exact words. He goes, if it's even hazy, we'll give that a win for flat Earth. Now, if you look into
I don't think he said that. I'm open to being wrong on that, but it's not what he said to me. I had Will on this very channel and spoke to him for an hour about it, and I said what about if the sun was hidden? He never said to me, if it's even hazy, I'm going to give the win to flat Earth. He said if the sun does weird things and goes behind the same cloud every time it spins round or something, then we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Something along them lines. He never said we'll give the win if it's hazy.
Union Glacier, where they went, there's like 350 cloudy days a year, right? And
350. Somebody check that stat.
And when
he just says shit and knows that these idiots in the corner won't even go and verify that at all.
They got there, when they landed there, the people that were getting on the plane that had been there for 3 months working, they're like, oh, you're lucky. We haven't seen the sun in 3 months. But they got there and what we call it 9/11 blue. It was the bluest sky ever. It was like perfectly blue. So So I don't believe that there's a circling sun in Antarctica. There may be some sort of reflection. Joe Hanvey has a cool model.
Joe Hanvey's got a cool model that relies on reflection coming in, but the people was actually taking pictures of the sunspots throughout all of this, and it was completely matching the globe all over the world. They were filming the sun in Antarctica. Other people were filming it all over the world and taking pictures of it and zooming in with solar filters on. You could see the sunspots are exactly where the globe said they were going to be, based on where you are on Earth. So you can't use the reflection thing, as I would have totally picked that up. Whitsitt and Jerem were there to verify all of that and call it out if there was any stupid shit that you're saying going on in the sky. It's just insane that you won't accept this. And, it wasn't cloudy for a couple of days by chance. What did they do? Turn the cloud machine off for 2 days down in Antarctica. But they just turn it on for the rest of the year for no reason.
I'll show you. I kind of took Joe's idea and made a little video the other day, and let me show you this before I continue. So this is that.
This is good. I like it.
Yeah. So
this is good. I like this. Yeah, all right, mate. Because you've done no research whatsoever or watched any of the videos.
So I got an iPhone light here, and I'm shining it on this water-filled tube. And
tube Earth, is it now? So you think that there's a big tube that goes up in the air now, do you? That we can get 2 points. The fucking I'm just seeing what he's actually showing. What's he doing here?
When I show it, like, here's a guy in the north, the sun's circling around him, and here's a guy in the south that's circling in the opposite direction around him.
How would How would this guy not see this guy's sun in that model? Like, so the sun is now outside, but it's circling into. These two suns would at some point come next to each other like this for someone on Earth. Surely, if that's what you're suggesting, surely they would meet in the sky and then move away from each other again. But you're willing to accept that because it might save your app and your money.
Now, this is possible, but I kind of think if you were in the south and you're seeing a reflected sun or an apparent sun, it might not look exactly the same. I know that they were in Antarctica because I was supposed to go. What are they going to not, like, I'm going to get on the plane. They're like, hey, Dave, you're going to be in on this big scam.
Yeah, because it was obviously a lie, because you're the truth teller. You're the real truther. Dave, we're going to let you in on this scam. We're not going to tell you to you're on the plane, but you're in on it now. Otherwise, your life's in danger if you don't go along with this. Can I just ask a question to Dave? He'll never, ever answer it. But if I ever spoke to him again, because I've spoke to him before, if I ever spoke to him again, I would ask him this. At what point, go to the 24-hour video that's in 3 parts on YouTube. When it's 360 cameras, you can look around, you can look at all the conversations, but more importantly, you can watch the sun in real time that they filmed in Antarctica. And you tell me, at what point, because you're stupid, your real sun still exists, right? You still think that the sun would be visible sometimes in Antarctica. So you tell me where they switch. You show me the cut in those videos where they flip out the real sun and the fake sun comes in, and the one that goes around in the sky that you claim was lasers or whatever you said it was before, but now you're pretending it's just reflections off of a dome that just happens to go in a circle above someone's head. Show me where they switch the real one for the fake one. You won't.
And you're going to cooperate. Like, no, they took these guys to Antarctica and they fooled them, in my opinion. I don't know.
They fooled Whitsitt, the most intelligent man in the world.
What they did, right? They fooled them. Now, Marty Leeds and I and a whistleblower from Microsoft talked about Microsoft's technology of being able to project plasma into the sky and make a fake sun. And that technology, I think that's old world technology. There's a Raytheon whistleblower that says,
yeah, just reflect the sun into. But can this plasma also eliminate the actual sun while they're projecting the new one into the sky? And what about the observations made in Chile when the sun was south anyway, which it wouldn't be? Like, the sun was south from the farthest southern point of Chile, which would be past your tropics where your sun's supposed to track. You couldn't see it south. What about the fact that it was going right to left? What about all of these things that you're just ignoring because you're concentrating on the circling sun desperately because you know the morons in the corner and everyone else that's been scammed by your app will just accept anything you say to save face with their friends on the internet?
In Antarctica, there's directed energy technology that you can't even fathom, right? Yeah,
you can't even fathom it. I'm not going to go into it because you won't be able to fathom it, you simple people. This
doesn't seem that unfathomable to me. And so other people said, these guys were all in on it. They're in an Amazon studio. It was filmed beforehand, which is crazy. Crazier than saying they faked the sun. I'm going to take it a step farther. Not only did they fake the sun, they faked the whole blue sky too. The entire thing was faked.
So the whole thing was crazy. To suggest they was in a Amazon studio is crazy, but it's not crazy to suggest they faked the blue sky and the sun. That's not crazy though. How then? It's crazy to say the Amazon studio, or is he saying that he thinks that they were?
Right. And the information on, how that's possible, there's more information than I can publicly talk about.
How convenient.
But let's just say the one guy that would be the best to run an operation like this that worked for a big tech company. I'm trying to be very careful in what I say here.
The way that Dave tries to pretend that they are after him and he needs to be careful what he says, otherwise he could be eliminated. Like that's what he's suggesting here. Like he's so important to the truth that if he says, so he can keep it deliberately vague because nobody could say, you mean this person? Well, I've got proof they wasn't in Antarctica. And he said, no, I didn't mean that person. I meant somebody else. I'm not going to say who because I'm in danger if I say who. So he's just going to pretend that someone they is high up, was in Antarctica on holiday, apparently, on vacation in the snow. Just happened to, with his little projector. This person that he can't name because Dave's life is in danger if he names them, was sitting there behind the mountain with a projector, projecting not only a blue sky but a sun going around like this. He just happened to be there. Went and did it personally. Never had a team. He's high up. He's a billionaire. He owns all of this stuff. He's one of them. But he took his little projector beyond the mountain and did it himself. He was there. I've got proof. Oh, you mean this person? No, not that person. I'm not saying no.
He happened to be in Antarctica vacationing during TFA. The guy in the world that would be best run to run an operation like this happened to be in Antarctica. Okay? That doesn't prove anything. It's just kind of weird. So I think
doesn't prove it. Not going to say who it was.
Austin was fooled. Jaron, people are saying he's been a shill for 10 years. I just don't see that. I think that he has been spiritually infested. I don't know what the right word is.
Yeah, he's gone against my app, so he's evil. My app's the truth, even though it's been thoroughly debunked not only by the circling sun, but by all of the measurements and everything else taken. The fact that the sun was south, the fact that it was going the wrong way to what my stupid map says it is, everything. But everyone's been infested if they don't agree with me.
And what we have to realize is, where is it? Hold on a second. This one. This is a Bible verse for our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realm. And
it's funny that Dave's suddenly religious. He wasn't when I spoke to him a couple of years ago. He denied ever being religious because I mocked it. Yeah, I know, it's a load of rubbish, yeah, but no, suddenly because he has to be. Because the only people he's really got left now is the religious fluffs, mainly, because they have been led to believe that God told them it's flat, therefore the word of God cannot be questioned, therefore regardless of evidence, it's still flat. And he knows his market, and that's who he has to market to now. So suddenly Dave's religious now.
think that there are influences that some kind of get a hold of people. And I think that the Jaron that we're talking to isn't the same Jaron that we all knew before TFA. But that's just my opinion. I have no proof of any of that.
Shut the fuck up then. Or Jaron is just a guy that was actually looking for the truth, which is rare in the truther community. So he's taken you all by surprise by accepting truth when it was presented to him, because you'd rather stay in the cult and in the team and keep the narrative going than actually accept evidence that you all claim that you would accept. Dave claims that he would give someone free Bitcoin if they showed him proof. Clearly a lie.
But stuff that he's saying makes no sense. I mean, the last thing is, if that reflected sun in the sky...
reflected again now, is it? I thought some higher up was on holiday in Antarctica, projecting the sun to the sky and the blue sky, projecting the whole thing up there. I thought that's what you said. Now it's reflecting again, is it? Off of a dome.
Is real. It's a possibility. Let's even call it a far-fetched possibility. They fake the sky. Let's call that a far-fetched possibility. The Freemasons say that the sun is being projected from the center of the earth and it's being reflected out in the sky. There's another possibility.
I'll believe the Freemasons now, do you? How ironic.
We can come up with a whole bunch of possibilities for how the optics of a domed sky work on a flat earth.
No, you can't, because they don't.
That are all possibilities. But if you want to say that the...
No, it's not. The sun doing circles in Antarctica on your map is an impossibility. And you fucking know it.
Circling sun in Antarctica, if it was real, proves the shape of the earth. You now have to believe in Narnia. You have to believe that helium and hydrogen that defy gravity and...
Oh, he has to go off into all of the other things because spectroscopy needs a container. Well, there you go. I think that's the end of that. He's about to move on to other shit. So I will leave it right there. I'm only interested in the final experiment stuff because it's so funny watching them squirm, to be honest with you. The rest of the arguments I'm bored to death with at the moment. Maybe I'll get my mojo back on them if other people can, point me to somebody that's quite entertaining that talks about this stuff that anybody's actually got any respect. I don't know. Cheers. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Adios.